It's better than being up in the 300 section trying to look on your computer again.
We're trying to read the shirts. I had binoculars up there.
Complimentary telescopes there. Everybody's out and rolling. We'll go ahead and Coach Dave, you can start off with an opening statement and we'll go from there.
First thing I want to do is I want to compliment two groups of people. One is our players. Obviously, this isn't a new story in the sense of the whole overall, but it was a difficult moment to have to deal with unexpectedly, really. I mean, we didn't have a warning or anything like that. We just kind of got a day's notice that this is what was going to come out. So Wednesday, after my press conference, I guess, we had our best practice that we've had all year. And I was really concerned, as some of you guys know, I was talking about that. I hadn't seen them. And for them to come out with the energy and the focus and resilient attitude that they did really shows a lot of their character. And so I'm really proud of them. I'm also very thankful for our fans. I think we built this team up quite a bit also. I probably lead the charge in that. I'm a pretty positive person, and I know the work that our staff has put in the last 4 years to get to the point where I feel like we have a really, really competitive team nationally competitive. And I think the news took some wind out of the sails of our fans as well. But I also think that it motivated them to rally behind these kids. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive, certainly from our fans, but also from people outside. Even some of the people down south, I'll be perfectly honest, one of the people, and I don't like to name drop at all, but I think it's important to know, Joe Castiglione actually sent me a text message. I think he actually tried to call me, and I didn't have his number, so I didn't answer, but he sent me a text message to just offer support. He didn't take a stance one way or the other, but I think he respects the way we try to run our program here. And obviously, we're rivals, we're competitors, but I do believe that Joe Castiglione is in it for the kids. I do believe that. So I want to thank him also publicly for reaching out. He wasn't the only one. There were several, but I don't want to go through a list of people. So with that being said, obviously we came out and played a game tonight, and we showed some jitters, and I wanted to play against a team that I knew would be well prepared and well coached, and I have a ton of respect for Coach Hoffman. And so it was the right kind of game for us tonight.
The players coming in here all together, I know it's important to show unity, but what does it mean for you to have the players come in here like that?
So I was talking to Ice at the women's game yesterday, and at halftime, we both kind of came in the locker room together. I think I was going home and had to pick up something, and he might have been coming to get something to eat. And it was his idea. He suggested, because they hadn't talked to you guys since then, and obviously they're gonna be asked about it at some point. And he suggested that they come and do it together. Naturally, he would have probably been the one if we were picking people. And so once he thought it was a good idea for them to be together and his teammates were on board, I was on board. I think it shows what kind of kids we have, that they would want to do something like that together and not just leave one of their teammates out to answer for everything. And so I'm proud of them. That was a mature thing for them to do. And I think it's important, especially in this day and age, that we hear what the kids have to say, how they feel. We make a lot of decisions for them, and oftentimes we don't consider what they may be thinking or how they may be feeling, and tend to, as adults, hope that they just listen to us. And really, we need to listen to them sometimes. We need to give them space to express how they feel, and that's really a part of the healing process in a situation like this.
They said one of their big goals now is to win the Big 12 regular season, because that's all that's available. How important does that make each? In a normal year, if you lose on the road in Fort Worth or lose in Lubbock, it's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. But this year, all of those games are going to mean so much if that goal is to be achieved.
Yeah, it's unique in some ways. I don't know if I've really processed the big picture that way yet. I'm pretty much a day-to-day guy. I probably need to grow a little bit myself in that area and thinking more, macro, but certainly I think it's a realistic goal for this team. Not easy. Still think it's the most competitive league in the country. We're picked 6th. I mean, people say tied for 5th. I see 6th. So we're going to have to beat some really good people in order to accomplish that goal.
I think the consensus from the players was that they're going to play with a chip on their shoulder. Did you see that after that first practice?
I did. I think that was definitely the vibe I got from them. And it was a healthy kind of chip, too. I'm still pissed off, I'll be honest. I'm hurt for those kids. And, it's not really truly about me. I didn't get into coaching for me. I don't know if I've coached long enough to get in anybody's Hall of Fame. That really is of no significance or consequence to me. I really got in this to help kids see themselves becoming more than they ever imagined. And that's what's frustrating to me, is because I think that's why we all get into this profession. But I don't know if you guys know this. The same day, Wednesday, that our ruling came out, there was this article published about James Madison University. You guys may be aware. And there are 2 quotes in there that I think are pretty pertinent, both of which I agree with. The first one is, it is hard being a college student right now with COVID and isolation and all the challenges they have to endure. For them to bring on more anxiety, more stress, more problems, it just seems tone deaf. And I was from their basketball coach, who I know we actually kind of came up in this profession together. He was at College of Charleston when I was at South Carolina, and then he became the head coach at Georgia Southern. And I think he's 100% right. The other one's a little bit more troubling, but I agree with it also. And it says, in an era when the industry of college athletics stresses student-athlete welfare, this decision is completely contrary to those ideals. And I 1,000% agree with that too. I think the students, athletes at James Madison deserve better from leadership. I think they should go to the leaders on their campus and ask, how do we get this right? What do we do better? Maybe our athletes can go with them. Because I think the person that was speaking on that second quote may have some information about how those decisions were made. And if the importance of student-athlete welfare is of significance at James Madison, I think it should be at Oklahoma State as well. Because I want to see all student-athletes have a fair opportunity to have success. So I don't disagree with either one of those statements. I think the student-athletes at James Madison deserve better, but I think the student-athletes at Oklahoma State deserve much better also.
Kind of going along with that, all the names that you mentioned at your press conference Wednesday, what's kind of been the response to that? Have you heard anything from any of those people? What's kind of been that response?
I don't know. I haven't heard from any of them. I don't expect to hear from any of them. Accountability is a big deal to me. And if they feel strongly that their decision was the right one, I think they should be able to stand up and say that they do feel that way. And maybe answer why.
Coach, you mentioned the fans earlier, 8,000 plus packed in today. What did it mean to you to see that at an exhibition game?
It meant everything to me, and I hope our players understand how unique that is. I probably can go back and find the actual numbers, but I would guess it probably doubled any exhibition attendance we've had since I've been here. Now, I can't speak to anything prior, but I went to bed on Wednesday after not sleeping Tuesday night pretty late, and I was pretty beat up, to be honest. And I woke up, and I just told our fans this. I woke up on Thursday morning excited because I know the type of people that support this program. And so I'm not surprised, although it's not usual. I'm not surprised because I've been here long enough to see this community and this fan base rally around its teams and offer support in really, really difficult moments. And tonight was another example.
What did you think of the game overall? What are your thoughts there?
It was good. We did some good things. Sloppy exhibition basketball, right? Nervous. Tyreek's been sensational in practice. Probably borderline starter kind of play in practice, and I think he was as nervous as he's ever been tonight. And I don't know if it was just playing and being out there in front of fans again, and it's a different deal. I thought Bryce was his aggressive, confident self. Thompson, we didn't see much of that, I don't think, last year from him. So that was a positive. I thought Avery did some good things. I think we've talked about Moose's presence defensively. I think that showed up. The block shots obviously they jump, but there's several times where guys like just not shooting the ball in the air. Almost just as effective as blocking a shot. It's making him think about whether he wants to shoot a ball at 1 feet from the basket. So we had some guys do some good things, but we got a long way to go if we want to accomplish the things that they said they want to accomplish.
Is that the starting 5 you're planning to go with for a little while, or is kind of
I don't know. I would say currently with the guys available, we have 7 starters. MA and BT are probably 6, 7. But though it's early, it's hard to say, and I would imagine with this group, right? We talked about not having a ton of separation. There'll be guys because for us things are based on practice. I don't make promises. Nobody's guaranteed to start today or Tuesday. It's how well do they prepare Sunday and Monday to get ready? And the guys that are prepared the best, I think, can put us in position to have success. They go out there for the jump ball. It's not that big a deal to me who starts, but I do want to reward hard work, and we'll see how that goes Sunday, Monday.
Going into the year, Donovan Williams might have been one of the last people I mentioned as a starter. Just kind of what has he done? What has he showed in practice to earn that?
Yeah, and I've had this conversation with Donovan probably this summer. He had a lot of work to do to get in the rotation. There were some things you didn't know about the guys coming in, but I know he couldn't do what Musa does, right? So that's not really a deal, right? But the guys we have a lot of guys in our backcourt, and he's going to play that position, or he's going to find a way to play the 4, some 4s to find a way onto the floor. But he's just been a much better listener. He's shown some humility. I think I mentioned this with the radio guys earlier today. Donovan Williams walked on this campus last July, and he knew that Cade was going to be the number 1 pick, and he believed he was going to be the number 2 pick. That's where he was last July. And then it didn't go well. Didn't go close to that well. And then the injury, and then the question of is he good enough? And the psychological warfare that I'm sure we went through last year really affected him. And we talked about his struggle mentally, and he's been in a much better place, understanding his role for our team and how to have success and how to get on the court. And I think he's embraced just being a junkyard dog type. He got a couple big offensive rebounds early for us, and just play with great energy. So hope that continues.
Looked like they played some 1-3-1, some matchup stuff. I imagine there's not a lot of preseason prep going into those offenses.
Yeah, and that's part of it. And, I'm never here to make excuses, but that's good for us. We got some film. We'll see it. I would imagine we'll see it maybe in a couple more games. Tonight's game was on ESPN Plus. I would imagine UTA got the film. Maybe they feel like that's a good strategy for them as well. So we got some film. We can go back and start trying to get better at zone offense starting on Sunday.
What you think of Rondell's takedown?
It's big time. I think I need to keep Coach Smith away from him. I don't know if there's a weight class for a guy 150 pounds, but
I think most of them are about like 5'5", not
6'5". Yeah. I'm safe there then. I don't think he wants to wrestle anyway.
And you had to get on Woody a little bit too. What was kind of your message there after Woody's little sequence?
So I'm always bothered when guys try things in a game like they're trying for the first time. And we've practiced 26 times, and I don't think Woody has dunked in a practice. He can dunk, obviously, 6'9", but the dunk he tried to do tonight. So not only does he try to do a dunk that he's never attempted, and I don't think he could ever make that dunk. Not yet, anyway. He needs a lot more work with our strength conditioning coach. But we went down the court on the other end, and Musa blocked the shot for him, saved his butt, and he was the last one down the court, and that's just unacceptable. So he needed to hear what the expectations are. That's part of it, right? He needs to understand what's expected, what's accepted, and what's rewarded, and that type of play isn't any of it.
And then, do you have an update on Chris and Caleb? I know they went through warm-ups and didn't play.
Caleb is probably still 10 days away from, I would imagine, I would think. You know, try not to project that stuff, but that's kind of what the plan has been. He just started practicing again. He needs to get some reps, get some wind under him. Chris is a little bit closer in terms of availability, but he's still not quite ready for live competition. He hasn't done any of our. He didn't play in our scrimmage versus Missouri. He's not done a ton live yet. He's really still getting the confidence in his knee right now.
And what about Bryce Williams too?
Yeah, so Bryce Williams, obviously we know his situation in terms of the legal side. He had some things he had to fulfill before he was eligible to play. We just haven't reached that moment yet. So he's out right now.
Do you have any idea how long?
I don't know. As soon as he's available, we'll let you know. I mean, I wouldn't imagine it'll be that much longer, but he's still got a couple things he's got to get knocked off before he's available again.
Maybe Moose's biggest flaw last year was his free throw percentage. 4 for 7 today. I imagine that's something you take given what happened last year.
Yeah, it's much better than 30%, right? And he's not a bad. If you watch basketball, he's got a good-looking stroke. I think part of it is consistent reps. I think he played with a little pressure last year, and pressure's never good, right, on the court. So I think he'll shoot better, and obviously he's going to get fouled a lot. It's just the nature of where he plays and how he plays. And, if teams start thinking he's a 70-75% free throw shooter, maybe they'll think twice about it.
What do you kind of make? You mentioned pressure earlier. What do you kind of make of the expectations that kind of the general fan base has on Bryce, being a 5-star local kid? People are looking at him. Some people are looking at him like he's going to be Cade. Just kind of what do you think of his general expectations and how he can even live up to that?
I feel comfortable saying this because I've had this conversation with him and his family. He's not Cade. Okay, so let's make clear of that. Like that dude, obviously he struggled a little bit out the gate in the NBA, but he's also was guarded by Giannis. He was also guarded by Giannis for like 35 minutes the other night. I think I would struggle on my best day. All right, but. Bryce is going to be really, really good for us. And, I think the way we play is going to help him. I'm going to continue to instill confidence in his ability, the reason we recruited him. And I really, really enjoy coaching that kid. Fan expectations, I can't control that. I mean, I think people thought Cade was going to get 50 every night last year. So.
Cade bullied KD a little bit tonight.
Did he? He was excited about that matchup. He thought he was excited about the Giannis matchup, and then I talked to him afterwards, and I think they're all learning that dude's different than even the different ones.
He's been hurt too.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to just jump in, and Giannis the other night, then Tyrese Maxey, who he knows, but has got some experience in the league, and then KD and Harden. But this is what he's built for. He's going to do fine. The kid's still going to wind up being a really, really good player. I think he'll be a multiple-time All-Star, no question. Thanks, guys. Enjoy some college football tomorrow.